We're recording audio and video now.
So we are good. Yeah, we're just not live streaming. All right, we'll call to order. It is approximately 4:50 on what is today? August the 18th, 2025. Call to order the regular scheduled meeting of the Clark County Election Board. Myself, Andrew Steele, present with Tony Singleton and our clerk Ryan Lynch. We have one item of old business to approve the previous minutes from our July 21st meeting. I've had a chance to review them. Tony and Ryan, seem okay?
Yes.
So then I'll move that we approve those.
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. And then we'll move on. We've got some new business items, some of the things that have been on the hopper for a couple of months. The notice here looks like the Secretary of State is going to be coming to Clark County. So Brian, can you tell me and the public a little bit more about that?
Sure. So, like on the flyer that we have, required in HEA 1633, that basically made the Secretary of State's office to do basically a study on a couple things, and they are doing 3 public meetings across the state, and they contacted me last week for us to asking if we would host one of their 3 meetings. So they'll be down here. They will be live streaming it, so that should be a pretty good event.
So broadcast statewide. The nature of the meeting, it looks like this is a feasibility study on vote centers
And the timing of municipal elections.
and timing them. So I would assume that's moving them to congressional years or presidential years.
Yeah, I think that's what some of the topic is about, yeah.
Interesting. We'll advertise this as Friday, September 19th at 11:30 here at the courthouse or at the government center.
It'll
on
be
Corporate Drive.
at the Government Center at 300 Corporate Drive in the meeting chambers.
Excellent. And yeah, any members of the public that are interested in attending, I strongly encourage it. Let them know your thoughts on vote centers and municipal elections. I think a lot of people would agree that we have such low turnout in municipal elections because they're scheduled in odd numbered years
Right.
when turnout is, a lot of times people don't even know what's on the ballot. I mean, don't even know that there's an election, much less they can't get to it. Is there anything else to add on that one?
Nope, that's it.
Awesome. Thank you. And this flyer will be available for the public, and we'll put this up on our website.
Mhm.
Cool, man. Then moving on, we had some discussion at our last meeting, and Ryan did an excellent job of developing some SOPs for our voter registration office here when we receive campaign finance information and how basically we process it and make it available to the public. And we talked over some edits and some additions. Have you added any other, besides the ones we did, is there anything new that you want to add for us?
Sure. So I sent it to the IED, Election Division, and they had their attorneys look at it along with their campaign finance enforcement department, and they were actually pretty pleased with how it was up until that point. They had a couple things to add. They recommended us adding. We don't get a lot of the Schedule Ds or the Schedule Es, which is debts owed by a committee or debts owed to a committee. We very rarely get those ever, but they recommended that we have a checklist for those just in case. So that's what the additional page is. If you notice on the original one, it's number 4. If there is one, then we'll check, the office will check yes, and they'll add this page to it and go through this page with those schedules D or E. If not, they'll say no, and then this extra sheet won't be attached. only whenever those forms are actually supplied. And then, let's see, on the SOPs, the only thing that they recommended was to basically say that the law requires the board to notify a committee within 30 days of a due date if it's a delinquent report. So if they don't file them on the deadline, then we're required by law to notify them within 30 days of that due date that they are past that deadline.
Okay.
So I added that, and other than that, they said they were happy with the way it was.
With this feedback, did you get any other information on whether or not any other counties use something similar to this?
They didn't say it outright, but the way that they reacted, a couple of them, this was better than what other counties are doing.
Yeah, that's what I was hoping. Is that basically
they were a couple of them were impressed with what this is. This is kind of like how they would want counties to do. Is kind of the response that I got from them. Like I said, they didn't outright say that, but they were very pleased with the thoroughness and just the how the flow of it is.
Well, I really appreciate what you've done.
Now, procedurally, are we thinking then, so someone turns this in, it's reviewed, staff signature, and then we're going to sign off on all of these as well? Is that the plan?
Yeah, so the idea, this everything here is based on, I kind of went through the law and exactly based it on everything that the law said. So the checklist would be done by us here in the office. And then if there was no issues with it, then they would just sign off on it that they went over it, and then it would go in with the rest of the documents. If there are issues with it, then they'll notify the committee of what those alleged issues are, because technically by law they're not legally defective or delinquent until the board decides. But just the state does this, so they notify whenever they find the alleged defectiveness or the delinquencies. They notify the committee of when the board. So basically, the next board meeting is usually probably how this goes. Tell them that this will go in front of the board, and then we'll discuss it at that board meeting, and then we'll decide whatever. And
that's
what the bottom is. If there's nothing wrong with them and we just move on with our lives, then it won't get to us, and we'll have a short meeting, which is the ultimate goal.
Right.
Obviously.
Right.
But yeah, that's kind of how the flow will go. And we'll have hopefully none, but if we do, then we'll have this form with the campaign finance forms at the following meeting.
Excellent. And I'll move this new draft. I'll move that we accept it and adopt it as part of our procedures here for the election board. And the SOP that accompanies it, the standard operating procedure guideline. I'll move that we adopt that. Is there a second?
Second.
All in favor?
Aye.
And we have a few members of the public here. Did you guys want to add anything else, or any other thoughts on the checklist? All right.
I think it's excellent. I know some of our candidates certainly can use any help that they can get.
Sure.
So.
Yes. Appreciate that. Next item was the campaign finance complaint. Ryan, if you can provide us with an update on that.
Last I heard, they were working on getting it together, and
We had, our last meeting, we had drafted the letter and sent it up, and then they had subsequently communicated concerns about confidential information.
Sure.
So I would assume they're working on it.
Yeah.
At this point. So
yeah, I can reach out and see if there's a timeline of any kind.
If you feel like it, I don't have any objection to that, Tony.
Okay.
You know.
Yeah, well, we pretty much gave him the.
I'm saying I wouldn't. I know how hard it is to put that stuff together, so I'm not gonna. I don't want to push up on them.
Sure.
the sooner the better, but obviously, I think usually 90 days is about a reasonable amount of time for somebody to do it, and it's been about 30, so I
Right.
think they're doing, if they're doing it, they're doing fine. Not so worried about it. But, yeah, that one, we're just kind of waiting for our response back.
Yep.
Excellent. I don't have anything else to add. Do we have anything else on the agenda that we didn't record or?
Nope.
Excellent. We have some members of the public. We'll open it up for any comment. If you guys want to add anything for us, glad to take your comments.
You said that part of what the Secretary of State, his meeting is you'll be discussing regional voting, is that correct?
Some counties use voting centers. Clark County does not use voting centers. We have polling locations on polling day. The feasibility, I will say that I was on the board the last time we did a study, and that was in 2013, 2014, and I did not vote to support it because I did not believe that it was going to actually increase turnout or assist our voters in making it to the polls. That's only my opinion, but with Secretary of State Morales coming to the county, there may be a new push by state legislature to try to get more counties to accept polling locations. Vote centers can be opened at different hours prior to the election rather than on election day. So here in Clark County, we have early voting, and we've run that at the REMC. We run that at the Tri-County Fire Department, Charlestown 4-H, and here at the courthouse for the 2 weeks prior to election day. That essentially functions. Those are vote centers for all intents and purposes, but we have, if I'm correct, 60 polling locations or 54?
Polling locations, we have 30 polling locations.
30 polling locations. Because we have 68 precincts. So 30 polling locations covering 60 precincts. It used to be every precinct had its own polling location on election day. Over time, depends on the partners that we're working with. A lot of people don't want their business, being used during election day. We've even had pushback from the school districts on some years where they don't want people coming to the school to vote. So unfortunately, the school district is the largest government property owner in the county. So they're the ones that have the most places where we could do this. And over time, we've struggled at times to try to find a polling location in some of our precincts that is willing to basically allow us to use their location for the day. So we've gone from, and obviously, if we're down to 30 polling locations, it's narrowed down. Long story short, vote centers would function similar. We would have multiple precincts voting. Also on vote centers, the machines are coded to collect votes for every precinct in the county. So if you are a voter that goes to vote normally at Jeffersonville High School, but you're not in the vicinity of Jeffersonville High School on election day, you can vote at another voting center, say in Clarksville or Sellersburg, and your vote would count at that location.
Near your work, perhaps.
Perhaps.
I lived in Georgia for 2.5 years in Gwinnett County. They had regional, but then the day of election, you had to vote in your precinct.
Right. The logistics of doing that, basically there needs to be print on demand at all of the voting centers, which I'm not a big fan of because we can't transport ballots to these locations prior to the election day with enough people to ensure that they're secure and that they come back secure, that they're counted in and counted out so that our ballot totals are correct, and that we've got printing equipment that's left on site, or do we take that out every day? The logistics of it, Clark County doesn't simply have the number of government buildings available that, we could use the highway department as a polling center. or a fire department or something for the 2 weeks prior to an election. So that's just one of the logistic things that I always kind of questioned.
The difference with Georgia, like I said, they had some, but theirs was all electronic voting. There was no paper ballots.
Yeah, we're not big fans.
So, yeah, no.
This
So
board,
that-
board wants
Actually,
paper.
Yeah,
So
it's
that-
against the law in Indiana.
Yeah.
So there, having regional ones was not an issue. You just moved the equipment from one place to another.
Right.
So, yeah, I can see where it would be.
But the other thing that's interesting is the timing of municipal elections. That'll be
Mhm.
interesting.
Oh, I totally agree. My personal belief is that election day should be federal and state holidays. Banks ought to be closed. People ought to be off work entirely. And if they moved it to a Saturday, that'd be even better. Not to step on anybody's Sabbath, but if we could figure out a way to have weekend voting or nationalized holiday voting, I would be big in favor of that. I don't think anybody should be required to work on election day. You should be required to vote on election day. But I just want to make it easy. Some people want to make it hard.
Sure.
But I appreciate that input, especially your experience in Georgia. If we don't have any other comments, I'll move that we adjourn. Our next meeting is set for the 3rd
September 15th.
September 15th. And we may or may not have much business on September the 15th, so let's tentatively schedule that.
Okay.
I don't like canceling, but we know that we're going to be back in October. We'll be back in November. If we get information, basically, if we get information back from the committees on the campaign finance, then I think it would be appropriate, obviously, to have a meeting. But if we don't have any other new business to add, maybe we not schedule a regular September meeting and drag people down here. Just take a break.
Since on the 19th, you're gonna have,
Yeah, and we're gonna be back on the 19th with Secretary Morales. All right. Well, I'll move that we adjourn till
Second.
next time. All in favor?
Aye.
Aye. Thank you. And you guys, thank you for coming.
oh, absolutely. It's been a while.